Hi Shiva, good morning.
Hi, Shiva.
Hi, hi, Sai. Good evening.
Hi Shiva, good morning.
Hi, Saru.
Hi Shiva.
Hi. How was your weekend? All good. Hey, I thought you guys would be sending those SQL files somehow, but I did not receive. Did you guys send me? Or you guys are still working? Anyone?
Shiva, I didn't understand you.
No, you guys supposed to send me that SQL file, right? With the hands-on session that we had in the last session.
Yes, Shiva. My
Okay.
file I saved it. No, I've been searching for it, so I
Oh,
didn't find it. But I'm gonna send you like
okay, just
tomorrow.
send me to my email ID or you can WhatsApp me as well. Either way.
Sure, sure, sure.
I just pinged my email ID again, so you can send it either way. Okay. Others also, once you have completed that, please do send me. So we should be ready before we start on next hands-on session, which might be starting in 2 to 3 days. So you should be comfortable with writing SQL queries for creating table, inserting tables, all those. Okay. Just let me know once you have sent it. Maybe, if I get notification, I'll check.
I completed only 9 questions.
Okay, complete. If you can complete remaining, just complete and send it to me. Or if you have any questions, then we can discuss.
Okay.
Okay, just give me 2 minutes, guys. Let me share my.
ఎలా పంపి శివ గారు కొంచెం ఎలా పంపించాలో
Mail చేస్తారా నాకు? That's fine. You can send it to me to my email ID or మీరు ఆ గ్రూప్ లో ఉన్నారా? You can send it in the group as well.
నేను లేనండి.
Okay, sure. Or you can ask Sai or Swaroop to send it to me. Either way. Or I sent you an email. నా email ping చేశాను. ఆ email పంపించండి.
ఇప్పుడే సెండ్ చేయాలా?
No, fine. Whenever it is. మీరు ఎప్పుడు రెడీ అంటే అప్పుడు పంపించండి. It's fine. Not now.
9 క్వశ్చన్స్ కంప్లీటెడ్ అండి. తర్వాత లాస్ట్ 3 క్వశ్చన్స్ నాకు అర్థం కాదు అసలు. ఈ అప్డేట్ ఒకటి, సెలెక్ట్ ఒకటి.
Okay, maybe in the last 5
చేయాల్సింది.
minutes. Yeah, sure. Okay. Go through and let me know if you have any questions tomorrow. We will discuss చేద్దాము. Okay.
ఓకే.
Okay. Just try to go through and understand. If not, మనం discuss చేద్దాం రేపు.
ఓకే అండి. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Thank you. Okay. Today, again, kind of little bit might be boring session, but we will see something about the operators, like how many different types of that operators that we are having. If you have some prior knowledge, then it might be little boring, but it is just like operators are especially for filtrations or searching criteria. So it is very much limited to a number of rows. So operators are majorly, we apply the operators on a table, complete table, which would be returning you the set of rows. Like let's say if you have 10 rows and if you want to select 5 rows out of it based on some conditions, then you would be able to select. Or let's say if you have to, let me go ahead and share my screen first. Okay, I started sharing. Okay, so operator, as I mentioned just before, operators we use to perform any search on this given SQL table. Maybe let's say in the SQL table, maybe there are 1,000 records, and I wanted to apply some searching criteria, as in, let's say if name matches or ID matches, or let's say if the employee is having more than some salary, or whatever the queries that we wanted to apply, we can apply using the operators in the SQL. There are majorly 2 to 3 types of operators, like one, in any other, like in any other programming language, we do have some operators in SQL as well, like some comparison operators, like some logical operators. Maybe we will see in detail. and there are something like a in operator, like operator, and all those, which are not very complex enough to understand, but very much important to understand while writing any queries. So just let's see one by one, and then we will see the later some other complex topics later. Like the first one to start with is a comparison operators, sorry. So like any other programming languages, right, we do have a comparison operators in SQL as well, which is equals operator, or equals is to just check whether the two given values are equal or not. Let's say if I say a equals to b, we are just checking that the right hand side value, left hand side value is whether equals to left hand side value or not. And similar to that, greater than, less than, greater or equals, less than equals, and not equals likewise. So these are simple operators. As I mean, equals just check whether the given two operands, the both operands that we are using, whether equal or not. Greater than or equals check whether one operator is greater than second operator, similar to less than. Or let's say if you want to check both greater than or equals, we use greater than or equal symbol, or less than or equal symbol, or this is for not equals. So we'll just say simple table. This is my table. Select the star from employees. If you go ahead and see the data in this, I have 6 rows in this table. Now let's say if I wanted to filter all the records that are having ID either greater than 10 or whatever. So what I can simply do is the operator we would in, if you remember in our last session, I've just given you simple query like where operator, a where keyword. First we write the select query, which would be returning you all the queries, all the results from the row, I mean all the rows from the table, and then we will be applying conditions on top of it, as in let's say id equals to 1. So what it says is, from this result set, select the rows which are matching this criteria. So when combine all these two queries, it will give you an ID, I mean a row which is having an ID equals to 1. If you execute, this is the result. Now let's say if you want to see all the records which are having ID greater than 10, then it will simply give you all the records which are having ID greater than 10. Let's say if we wanted to check all the IDs which are greater than 13, then you will be, see right now you are seeing 3 records because previously we have used a condition where ID greater than 10 and 13 is greater than 10. Now we are using ID greater than 13, which means all the records which are having ID greater than 13, which is 16 and 19. But let's say if you use greater than or equals to 13 and then select, then 13 is also included. So we are using a inclusion condition using greater than or equals. So whenever you are selecting a list and if you want to include the current item also, then you have to use the equals operator. Likewise, let's say if you want to get all the records with the ID less than 13, then select it 1 to 10. And if you want to include 13 as well, then select, that will give you the last record as well, which means it will include you the 13 as well, because we have used the condition equals. Very simple, nothing much. But let's say where you wanted to get all the records for which the ID is not equals to 10. Maybe let's say simply ID not equals to 13. I just wanted to exclude the ID 13 but get all the other records. So if you see the result set, it is giving you 1 to 10, but 13 is missing because we explicitly excluded 13 by using not equals operator. Not very much important, but very much, I mean, not very much complex, but very much important to remember all these operators we would be using very hand in hand while writing any SQL queries for any filtrations and all those. And also just remember that whatever the operators that we are using on the where operator, those would be applying on this select queries. For now, just remember this statement. This will be useful in the later sessions, but just remember that The condition that we are applying here would be applying on the rows that we have selected in the first statement. Okay, very simple, nothing complex. Let's move on to the other operators that we have. Like we have discussed all the greater and all those things, but we have another operators, which is logical operators. Again, any other programming language, we have and, or operator, not operator. See, some people says between operator is also a logical operator. So we will see that between as well. Or some people says this could come differently. That's okay. Whatever, we have to know what is the concept behind it. So let's see between the operators separately, but let's see what is and or not operators. So simple, let's say if you want to combine two statements, let's say I have a condition one saying id equals to 1 and condition 2 saying id equals to 2. So even in the simple English, right, whenever we are saying we wanted to perform two conditions and hey, do this and then also do this, what we are saying is we are combining these two conditions together. So which means, let's say whenever I say id equals to 1 and first name equals to Siva, so I wanted to apply two conditions. Let me write a statement for this. Select the star from employees where id equals to 1 and first name equals to, let's give something which is not present. So what I'm saying is if I run this statement and if I execute it, I'll be able to see some data because with id equals to 1 there is one record, but I have also added one more condition where first name equals to abc. What does that mean is it should return you the rows only when these two conditions are matching. So which means there should be a records with id equals to 1 as well as first name equals to this text. So if you select this and if you run, you see there is nothing because for the id equals to 1, the first name is something different. It is not abc, which is why it is not returning you any result. So what does that mean is whenever we are using uncondition, whatever the condition that you are returning will be used as a criteria to select the rows from the table. It should be matching both the conditions. Now if I put Siva here, it will be giving you this. Now just one observe, I mean maybe I might have missed before, but if you see something right here for the id column, I'm not using any single quotations. I'm just directly giving you the numbers. Reason being ID column being int here. Since it's an integer, I can give the numbers directly while checking the conditions. But let's say if you look at this, I'm giving in a single quotes. Reason being the column is a either varchar or unvarchar, any type of text that it contains, then you'll have to use the single quotes. Just remember one thing while writing any queries. So let's say if you want to select any decimals and all, then you can use directly. And we will see some other special operators, like let's say if I want to include uh, quote single quote while searching it, then we will see that later. I mean, those are like comes under some special characters that we will see that later. For now, if you have to search with any text, then you'll have to use it in single quotes. Remember this for now. Okay. Now let's see OR operator. So what OR says is either the condition, let's say if the first condition satisfies or the second condition is satisfies, then return the rows. Let's look at the data first. Now let's say I wanted to get the data which is having id 1 or name equals to Sai, whatever. So this condition satisfies one row, and let's say if I put or, so what I'm saying is whether this condition is matching or this condition is matching. If either the conditions are matching, then it would return you the data from both the rows. Let's say for id equals to 1, this row is matching, and for first name equals to Sai, this name is matching. So my result set would be this row and third row because there are two records, sorry, fourth row. So if I run, this, you will see two records. Reason being, it is not an under condition. Like unlike under condition, it doesn't look for the condition to satisfy in the same on this. I mean, it is not mandated to have both the conditions to be satisfied. Either of the condition is satisfied, then that result will be displayed. So this R condition can also be written something like this. If you have to understand something like this, then this statement plus this statement, which is id. Okay, so instead of plus, I mean, for now that's okay, but let's say union. I'll talk about union later in detail, but what I'm saying is take the result from this and also take the result from this. So if you want to mention all these conditions in a single operator, we are simply using OR. So if you select this and then combine, you will see the same result. But we don't need to write all these statements separately. We have a nice operator which is OR, and we can directly use it. It will, whenever there is a either conditions matching, then we would be using this. Okay, this is about OR operator. And it is there is a not operator, which is again very much simple. I mean, again, you just need to put, let's say, select star from employees, where id equals to 1. So I just simply wanted to say I don't want to, I don't want to use this guy, but rather I wanted to use this. So that would also work for you. You can just simply say execute it. So it is just simply returning you all the rows which is not satisfying this condition. So we are not saying that it is satisfying, but rather we are saying not satisfying. So whenever there are records whichever not satisfying this condition, then get those all the records. So you can simply want to invert your condition, then you can simply put id not operator. Now let's try to understand when we combine these operations. See, and or not or, these are simple operators, but when we are writing conditions in combinations, let's say for example, let me write in one employees where id equals to 1 and name, first name equals to Shiva, or first name equals to Gauri, whatever. So if I go ahead and select and run this, you see what I'm saying is id equals to 1 and first name equals to same. So this would be returning you one row. So though this guy works as expected, but the recommendation would be whenever you are having a conditions, let's say if you want to put this condition is a one part, then go ahead and put brackets to this. So that what it does is it will treat this entire condition and it will calculate this condition first, and then it will apply our condition on top of that. Now let's go ahead and run this. There won't be any change, but it is just practice that whenever we wanted to apply or combine the conditions, then we will see that maybe in detail when we write the complex queries. But for now, if you want to group the conditions together, then you can use and statements. Okay, just remember these brackets for useful for grouping. We will discuss when the complex situation comes in. Not very important for now, but let's switch to sorry, one second please. A between operator, very much easy. Select.
Shiva, just a
Sorry.
second, if you don't mind.
Mhm.
So, the and what is the function of and? The both the conditions true for and operator, right?
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
No, while you have done the first example on and, you have given the employee ID equal to 1, which is you, and first name equal to
Okay,
Sai,
let me
right?
write it here. ID equals to 1
Uh,
and first name equals to, no, I've given Siva, not Sai. Okay.
okay, I thought you have given
No, if
Shiva,
you
but
select this, see, this is coming. But if I
no,
say,
I think you have given ABC, I
yeah,
think.
ABC, if I give ABC, then
Uh-huh.
it gives you nothing.
Yeah, it is false. So
See,
it
even though
will
the
be
first condition is satisfying,
Yeah.
the second condition is false. That's why, see, if you see this guy and if
Mm.
you run this, it is giving you the result. See, I
No.
have highlighted only till ID equals to 1. I have not selected this first name, but if you
Yeah.
include that as well, and if you run it, it won't give you any result. Reason
Okay.
being, it is not matching the second condition. So,
Okay.
under
That.
condition, we'll use it to combine the conditions together.
Mm. Got it.
Okay. Or works in
Mm.
different way. It will be treated as one condition. Whatever the rows that are selected, it will take those rows first and then it will apply the
Yeah.
second condition. It will combine both the rows
yeah.
and then
R is like unless become
yeah,
false, it's gonna continue till the true.
correct.
No, one of the statement in both the statement, if one of the statement is true, then it will give you the true
Exactly.
value,
Correct.
and it eliminates the one that is false.
Yes,
And the
exactly.
not operators, it either one
Inverts the
value.
condition. See, this is the condition. See, first of all, if you see, if I write this guy, what it is giving you is it is getting all the results that are matching with this condition. Now, what I wanted to do is not for this, as in I wanted to get all the records which are not matching to ID equals to 1. Either I can do something like this, which means this, that will give you all the IDs, or I can simply invert this condition, as in apply not ID equals to 1. What I'm saying is get all
Mm.
the requests conditions which are not equals to ID equals, which means I'm just inverting this condition. So if you run this,
Okay.
then it will give you all the results. So not is
And
basically to invert the conditions.
okay. And can't we use not condition between two conditions? I mean, not operator between two conditions?
We can use, right? Let's say if you say this
Oh.
and ID equals to 2, and let's
No, I
say
mean like, so let's say you have used in your first example where ID equal to 1 and not
night like
between,
this, you mean to say, is it?
yeah,
No, we
yeah,
cannot, right? I mean, that doesn't make any sense
okay,
because we have
yeah,
to, the not operator, see, we can use like this, but again, we have to put on something like this. And we are saying that ID equals to 1 and not first name equals to this. So what does that
okay,
mean is
s- to use not operator,
we would need
must be
is
an
a logical
operator.
operator, correct?
We need one more logical operator, use not operator between two conditions.
Correct. Not only no
Okay,
logical operator, right? It is a comparison. It can be a comparator operator as well. So we just
okay,
basically need a condition. To have any
okay,
not operator, we would need a condition.
okay.
So we can invert any condition, but we cannot combine them. See, and operator basically combines two conditions. But using not
Mm-hmm.
operator, we cannot combine the condition. See, what does this mean
Okay.
is we are trying to combine these two. We're using not.
Mm-hmm.
But what I
Okay.
mean, it doesn't make any sense. But if you put and operator, right, what we are saying is
Uh-huh.
somehow we are combining, logically
Okay.
combining these two.
Uh-huh.
And our operator also same, right? We are saying that we
Okay.
are combining these, but in other logical way, as in either this
Then,
matches or this matches.
so if you use and or operator, then sorry, and not operator, then it will turn as or operator, right?
Similar to
Then
that,
you
yes,
can,
exactly.
yeah.
So
So you can get
what
you
it
can
will
get
bring you is it will bring you all IDs
the RE,
and then not matching to ABC.
ABC. So then you'll get the
Correct.
right answer.
But
Okay.
again, since it is an AND operator, it will give you only one result, right?
Okay. Mm. Okay.
Again, you can start playing, just create some simple data, I mean table, and start operating with these operators. But be very familiar with the operators. It will be very helpful when we write the complex queries. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, let's
Mhm.
continue.
No, Siva.
Sure. Thank you. A between operator. Between is again, let's say select a star from employees where again ID between 1 and 20. Okay. What we are saying is give me all the IDs which are between, let's take 1 and 13. The reason why I'm taking 1 and 13, I'll show you. But again, see, whenever you say 1 and 13, these are also included, which means this is something compiles to, as in this is nothing but greater than or equals to 1 and less than or equals to 13. So between operator is means like this. So either if you write give me all IDs which are greater than or equals to 1 and less than or equals to 13, or between these two IDs. So it just includes both 13 and 1 as well. Okay, let's write employees where ID greater than or equals to 1 and ID less than or equals to 13. So if you select this, see, it is giving you the same result. So instead of using these conditions, which little bit looks complex, I mean, for reading purpose, maybe we can simply use, which will be like more like a plain English. So that is the reason we sometimes use between operator. We can just simply say that between operator. But again, between operator with text columns would be little bit difficult. So we will not be using between operator with the text columns. Rather, we will use another operator for the text columns. Between operator, mostly we will be using for the numeric columns. Again, not very important. Again, between operator, we don't use much. People generally don't prefer to use the between operator for several reasons, but that's okay for now. Okay, this is it. Between, you don't need to worry much about it, but remaining are very important, and all the comparison operators and logical operators are much important. Now let's say there is another important one between. That's okay, even if you don't remember, that's fine, but there is something called as a in operator. So in operator says that whenever my values, let me write the very first, then you will be able to understand easily. Employees where ID in, what I'm saying is, here I would be giving a list of IDs and I'm asking query to get ID records whenever the ID is present in these two, let's say 1 and 2. What I mean is 1 and 10 maybe. So it will look into the all the rows of the table. Let me execute all the rows. First it will check 1, it is present in 1 and 10, it will select this, and then 2 is not present, 10 is present, it will take into the result, and remaining all are not present in this 1 and 10, so it won't give you anything. So if you select it and if you run, if you see, it is giving you all the, it is just as simple as that, ID equals to 1 or ID equals to 10. So it will also tell you the condition like ID equals to 1 or ID equals to 10, but only this is for this condition. But again, when you are doing this, it will give you all the IDs whoever matching 1 and 10. So it would be greater than or equals to 10 or less than or equals to this guy is also works. Okay, basically it will give you all the IDs that are matching in between and also inclusive of these as well. It pretty much looks like this guy only, but here we are giving a range. So SQL doesn't know that, I mean, it will be checking starting from 1 till 13, as in it will be checking for 13 numbers. But here we are simply giving the numbers that we would be having 1 and 10, as in either it is matching to 1 or 10. Or let's say if you give 20 here, then it will give you only 2 records because we have given only 2. Let's say if you give 13, it will give you 2 records. Reason being, let me give you the data set as well. So if you select these two and if you run, if you see, we are saying that select the IDs whenever, sorry, this is incorrect. Okay, remove this guy. What we are saying is select all the rows for which the ID is present in these three. Either ID is 1 or ID is 20 or ID is 30, then select it. So ID equals to 1 or ID equals to 20 or ID equals to 13. That is how it compiles to. So if you look at all the rows, we are having a 6 rows with IDs 1, 2, 10, 13, 16, 19. But we are saying select only IDs which are having ID 1, 20 or 13, because we have ID 1, we have ID 13. So we have selected those two as a result, which is in the second query, but we have not selected 20 because 20 is not present in the uh, master set or first table. Hope that is clear. In operator. So in operator, we can use it also on the strings like this. Let's say go and get all the records which are having first name in this. Let's say I and first name. So what I'm saying is get all the employees whose first name is falls under these three. Whoever having these three, either first name equals to Siva or first name equals to Sai or the first name equals to Swaru, get all those IDs. So if you see the first name is for all these records is matching this criteria. So in operator can also be used on the text something like this. First one with single quotes, comma, second one with single quotes, comma, second one with this single quotes. For the integers, we don't need the quotations. Rather, we can directly put something like this. ID in 1, 10, 13. So everything works. So if you expand and if you scroll down, you will be able to see the results. See this query result window is we will be able to adjust the size as per our comfort. So the first query would return you all the results. The second query is returning you whenever there is a first name falling under these three. And the third one would be whenever the ID is matches to either of these values that are mentioned here. So in is just like a we would be giving a list and we are asking SQL to look into the list, and whenever there is an item present with this any one of the item that is matching to this list, and bring that row to the result set. That's what we are saying with the in operator. So basically when let's say if you have a bag of words or bag of integers and you wanted to look the data of your table in those bag of words or bag of integers, then you can use in operator. Okay. Now, one interesting thing that I would like to tell here is, let's say here in operator, you can also use SQL queries. Let's say select, let's put something like this. Okay. And let me take any example if I have. Okay, I don't have ID. We cannot null. Edit. Okay, it is not allowing me to edit. Drop. Truncate table. Just give me 1 minute. Let me set this up. Sorry. Go ahead and edit ABCD of time 10. Okay. It's fine. Okay. Now, let me tell you how. See here, we are just simply giving you a comma separated characters or comma separators integers to just saying that hey, look for this column in this values, and if it is present, then bring that to the result set. However, in the in operator, here we can also use the SQL queries. Now let me first write one simple SQL query to select the IDs from persons table. Okay, now if you go ahead and select this, maybe ID column is not present, maybe it's person ID. Now go ahead and select this. Now if you see, there are one ID which is 10 in this person's table. Now what I'm saying is look for all the employees whoever having this person as in this person ID. Now what I can simply do is put select here this guy and then do this. So what I'm saying is look for all ID the same. Here we are giving a list of words, but here also we are giving list of IDs, but we are using a select query to get the list of IDs. So this guy would give you all the list of IDs that are present in your persons table. Let me go ahead and insert another row here. Edit. Sorry. Maybe 12. Maybe 5. Whatever. Now if you run this statement alone, it is giving you another list. See, this is also a list and this is also a list. This list is the result of our SQL query wherein I selected only one column, which is why it is looking like a list of integers. So we can also use this select query within in condition to check this matching. What we are saying indirectly is select all the employees, whoever having the ID which is matching with this 10 or 13 on this guy. So let me bring the all the tables here. So if you look here, select it and then execute. Now look at the data carefully. Okay, let me write another as well. Okay, what happened? Okay, now let me maximize it and let me bring you the queries. Okay, see, first one to just explore the data. We have all the 6 rows of data in the employees table. Second one, if you see, I have selected ID from the persons table, which is having 3 IDs, 10, 13, and 16. Now compare these two. With the 10, yes, we have a record. With the 13, yes, we have a record. With the 16, yes, we have a record. So what now we are saying is select star from employees, as in select all the rows from the employees where ID is in this rows. Indirectly, we are saying that this is also means that copy this guy, paste it, and here put this list. Copy this, put comma, delete, comma. So these two statements meaning the same. Whenever you are selecting, you see the same result because here the select person ID from the person or 10, 13, 16 results into the same. That's why we are saying that in operator can also be used with the select statement. The only condition that we have to, remember is you have to give the single column here. So you cannot put two columns here. That doesn't make any sense, right? Because here we are giving only one list of numbers or list of um, names or list of words or something like that. So we always have to use only one column. Let's say if you write 2 columns and try to execute, it will go on nicely say that the only one expression can be specified in the select list when the subquery is not included in the exist column. So what does that mean is it is saying that in operator can be used only with the one column. Let's say you can use first name also, but that doesn't make any sense. You can say first name here and then select, and then it is not matching because our persons table is not having any data. Let me go ahead and edit data here and then say this guy and come here and execute. It will give you all the records which are falling having first name as Siva because we are selecting in operator. Hope the in operator is clear. Only we have seen 2 flavors. We will see eventually some other few flavors when we write actually work on any kind of projects or complex queries, and we will see more use cases. But for now, yes, there are 2 flavors of in operator. Either we can directly use numbers or words with the comma separation, or we can directly use the select queries to apply right within the in operator. But the only thing that you'll have to remember is you'll have to give only one column whenever you are mentioning the query within the in operator. Okay, with that in operator is completed. If no questions, then let me go to another important operator, very important operator, which is like operator. Okay, now first let me again same explore the data. Okay, see there are nicely 6 rows present here. Now let me write few queries here and then I'll explain you what it is. Select star from employees where first name like IV, first name SI, first name, OP. Let me run one by one. What is the like operator? Let's say if you wanted to get all the, this is something like a contains this text. As in, let's say if I look at SIVA, this SIVA contains the letters IV in this order only. So we are just looking for a substring. As in, I wanted to get all the records that are having this substring. As in SIVA contains IV. So only these two records will come. It will not look for any order. Even if it is present in the middle or something, it will return you the result. So if I go ahead and run this, it will just look for this string anywhere in the word. Let's say if I've given IV, it will just look for IV. Either it is present at the start or in the middle or anywhere in the text, it will just bring you that result. So that is the reason why we are giving you percentiles on both the sides. Now let me run this guy. See, what this means is after SI, we are giving you, we are giving some text and then we are saying percentile. So what does that mean is go and get all the records that are starting with SI. So unlike this guy, it is gives you the results that are starting with SI. As in, if let's say if I wanted to get all the records that are having first name starting with SI, then I'm going to give SI percentile. Now, unlike that SI percentile, which gives you the results from the matching with, starting with SI, let's say ending with OP. Let's say I wanted to get all the results which are having ending with OP, which means first name, all the first names that are ending with OP would be in my result set. Let's say, see, Swarup is ending with OP. That is the reason why it is giving you OP. If you are mentioning percentile at the end, then it will look for the starts with, this says starts with SI or SI, and this says start with OP. See, in SQL, remember that it is case insensitive. Even though if your data is not in different case and if you are using a different case, then doesn't matter. Even if you search and if you run it, it will give you. So SQL is case insensitive. Unlike programming languages like .NET, Java, they are case sensitive, but SQL is case insensitive. So even if your data is present in lower cases and if you try to write the queries in the upper cases, it doesn't matter.
Shiva, the percentile if we given before the name, I
End
think
with two.
it's gonna come with the ends with OP, right?
Correct. That's true. So what does that mean is, let's say there
Yeah,
can
yeah.
be
But
anything.
in here you write starts with OP. I
Oh, that
just
is, I
corrected.
just copied it.
Yeah, yeah. Because it's
Ends
like
with.
the
Yeah,
percentile
yeah,
if we
yeah.
give
Ends with.
before
Yeah,
the
yeah,
like
correct.
letter, so it's gonna
Ends
ends
with.
with the OP.
Ends with.
It's gonna pull
No,
the
I
records
just
from.
copied from here and I forgot to change the word. That's okay. Thank you for correcting me. So if you run this, then it will give you all the records that are ending with OP. Okay. Any questions on like operator? See, like and then single quotes and then percentiles. Let's say if you wanted to get wherever wherever the substring is present, then use both the percentiles. Or let's say all the strings that starts with SI, then use the percentile at the end. And if the percentile is at the starting, that does mean that only those words or columns that are ending with this OP would be giving you the result.
Will this work only for varchar data type, or will
Correct.
this
It
work for
will
any
work
other
only
data
for
types?
data types. We cannot, numbers and all will not work directly. No, it is
Yeah,
especially,
even for the big in numbers or
no,
something
it
like
will
that. No.
not. It will not. It is especially for the char, varchar, text and all. Whatever having data types like text and all.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Okay. With that, we don't have, we will see some again complex queries with the like operator, but okay, let's see. There is nothing much, but we have few other not very important, but there is something called as null operator. Either we wanted to check whether the data is null or not null. So is null and is inversion not null. Unlike inversion, like is not null, though it is a single operator, we cannot use something like not is null. Okay, it is not treated as a single. So we have two different operators, like is a null and is not null, two different operators that we have. Okay, let's go ahead and see what is in operator. Sorry, not null operator. Let's say, let's go ahead and insert some null data. Let's give ABC, but don't do anything. Execute. Let's give something. Execute. Okay. Now, if you go and explore the data, what we have is we have 6 rows, but there is another row which is having last name as null. So I wanted to get all the records whichever having last name as not null. Then what I can simply say is that where last name is not null. Very simple, just like very plain English. So what we are saying is get all the records where first name is not null, or let's say I wanted to get all the records where last name is null. So just say that is null. It is just like two inversion. So altogether these two would be combining to all the record sets. If you combine these two, then it will give you all the records. And if you look at the actual data, actual data contains 7 rows, and we are saying that not null last name is not null, which is 1 row, and last name is null. Sorry, last name is null, which is 1 row. Last name is not null, which is returning you 6 rows. Very simple, but it is just that let's say whenever you wanted to identify whatever, see this would be used, we will use to identify whenever let's say there are millions of records and we would just wanted to check all the records whichever having null, then we use this simply just to many other, even if we use it in store processes and all, but we will see that later. But for now, just remember that you wanted to get all the records whichever having. Once again, these are all can be treated as a conditions, right? You can use it either with any other operators. Like let's say you wanted to get all the records whichever not null and ID is 1. So you can combine these two and use it. There is no harm in it. So it will give you all where last name is null, or let's say if you wanted to say last name is not null and ID is in 1 and 13. So it will give you all the records where last name is not null and ID falls under 1 and 13. Or you can simply say ID is between. Between syntax is little different. 1 and 13. Anything, you can just play with it, combination of the conditions, but again all these individual conditions is like operator also you can use the logical operator. So basically logical operators combines one or more conditions. It is just like a bridge between two conditions. You can use it either way. Okay, with that, very simple, not much, but very important. Sometimes whenever we wanted to look for the data, we use this operator. Okay. We have another few operators which are not important that I'll bring that whenever there is a, whenever we work on, when we work on any project, whenever there is a need, I'll bring that at that time. I don't discuss those now, but I'm just discussing you whatever very frequent uses and very important operators here. So there is one another, it's like a people call it as a operator. Even I don't feel like it's a operator, but rather still, let's say I wanted to get distant operator. Let's call it as operator. Though people are calling it, so let's call distant operator. So what distant operator is, says that it will get you all the unique records. Let's say I have 3 records here. Now, if you see the first name, there are 3 records that are having first name as Siva and one Sai, Swaru, Gauri, ABC. So I wanted to see what are the distant values that it is having, as in unique values that it is having. So I wanted to explore all the unique values of first name. So what I can simply do is select distant first name from table employees. So unlike operators at the end, I mean, we use for conditions, it is not for any conditions or something. Rather, let's say I wanted to get all the unique data from any column, or let's say all the, let's see, I mean, let's run this and execute. If you execute, it will give you all the unique values. Though Siva is repeated multiple times, it is not giving you, reason being we are using distant. But if you don't use distant and if you run this, it will give you all the records from all the rows. It doesn't look for any duplicates or something. But if you just wanted to get all the distant values, as in unique values, then you can use simply distant. And if you select and if you run, it will give you this. Now another question here. Let's say if I run this statement and let's see, I wanted to get all the unique records in all columns. Let's say if you take this guy, first name and last name, if you consider for these 2 records, first name and last name is same. So these 2 will be treated as one record, and this will be another, this will be another, and this will be again another. Reason being, when I combine these 2, SIVA, NIGA, when I combine these 2, these are like same only. So when you use the distant on these 2, it will return you only one record. Let's say if I say distant first name and last name, then what it will return you is whenever there is a unique values that combines to first name and last name. So it is gonna look for all the first name, last name uniqueness, and then it will give you. Now if you see this guy, see, even though first name is repeated, here the last name is not repeated. So when you combine these 2, these records are not unique. But if you look at the actual data, combine and expand. See, if you look at the actual data, there is one record with SIVA NAGA, another record with SIVA NAGA. But if you look at the output, there is only one record with SIVA NAGA. As in, it is treating, it is combining these 2 columns and then finding the uniqueness. So to find the uniqueness, it is using 2 columns now. Because you have mentioned after distance, you have mentioned 2 columns. But if you mention only one column, let's say select distant first name from employees. And if you run this, since you have mentioned only distance on the one column, it will look uniqueness within only one column. So if you look at this result, you see there is only one SIVA. But if you look at this result, there are 2 SIVAs. Reason being, we are looking the uniqueness for 2 columns. Likewise, let's say if you wanted to look the uniqueness of all the records, all the, let's say if I put unique distant of star, then what it's gonna give you is all the record, because though there are some column duplicate values and all, for them the ID is not same. So what does this indirectly meaning is ID comma first name comma last name. So we are trying to look for all the records uniqueness based on 3 combination of 3 columns, which is the reason why it is returning you all. So if you put ID and first name, sorry, first name and last name, then it's gonna give it treats these 2 records are one record because these 2 are same, and then it's give you. So the output here is 7 rows, but if you run this, actually it will give you only 6. Reason being, there are 2 duplicate, one duplicate for SIVA and IGA. Let me know if you have any questions on this. Very simple, but again, yet very useful. We use it in many places, but yes, it is useful. Okay, there are few other operators which I don't want to discuss at least now. Maybe tomorrow I'll just give you a brief on that. Maybe at least one or two to three operators that are there. But with this, we have at least completed one set of operation, which is like we use it in most of the time in filter conditions and all. So either whenever we wanted to search the data, whenever we wanted to filter the rows based on some conditions, or let's say if you want to combine two conditions, hey, go and get employees having salary more than 10,000 and less than joining date is less than January 2024, get all those. So I wanted to give them a hike of 10% or something. Those are all conditions, comes under a combination of conditions. So tomorrow mostly we will be having at least like 15-20 questions on the operators itself. I'll give you a simple questions with the similar quiz that we were having, right? I'll give you a quiz with, so that you will be get habituated to all the operators and different conditions and all. Make sense? Maybe I'll try to include everything in the question itself so that you don't need to look anything else. So I'll just maybe in the question, just it question itself includes whatever the table data and whatever the query that we are writing, the answers would contain. You might need to answer what is, you might need to choose the correct answer, what would be the data that would be coming in. Okay, I'll try to prepare some at least 15-20 questions. I'll try. I'm not sure, maybe depends on time, but I'll try to ensure that you are very much comfortable with using the operators. Make sense? Okay, with that, I mean, maybe I know I'm just stopping little 4 or 5 minutes early, but that's all I have for today. If no questions, then we can stop here.